Got a little finicky there for a little bit, so okay, there you go. You just joined the live that way too. Perfect. All right, welcome. So this is a little bit different than we normally Mel and I are doing global meditations. TikTok didn't like that last time, so we are here to talk about. We'll answer questions that you guys have. We have to keep it kosher for this app, so we can't get into too deep of topics on certain things because, AI combs for certain words and stuff. But we wanted to share with you guys some of the things that have been coming in. Mel and I are both work in these spiritual spaces, and we do different work, but our what's been coming in through our clients has been very similar. And we've been talking about how we need to come and share this information with all of you. And that's why we do daily, or Mel does daily videos. I'm back posting again, but we want to take what is coming through our sessions and share it with all of you because we think it's really, really important. And we know we are living in this world as well, and we see all the chaos, and we know that what's being projected out there can cause panic and chaos, and we want to help bring some calm and reassurance to all of you based on what's coming through our sessions. So I'm gonna see, Mel, what do you want to add to all of that?
Well, first of all, hi everybody who's here. I know it's been a while that Heather and I have gotten together here, and this is actually the first time that we're getting together on this live, if you so will, without a meditation. Okay, so this is the first one for us in this capacity, but we believe that it's the time to do one of these, and just maybe engage with you all and answer some of your questions and talk about some stuff that we've been noticing and we have been encountering and we think is important for you all to know. So that's basically what we're here to do in the short time that we're going to be on here today. So however long that may be. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of clear for a little bit, so I know Mel is too. So if you guys have any specific questions, drop them in the chat. But let's see. We were just discussing how we wanted to start, and let's start. What just came in. Let's start with sovereignty. Shall we start with sovereignty?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so like I said, Mel and I both work in the spiritual realms. I am a channel. Here's my spiel. I channel groups of cosmic beings that are here to help us on our human journey. And what I love to channel, the last handful of years, 5 years that I've been supporting people in this way, my guides and my clients' guides have brought me situations that have been built on over time. So, I'm a soul contract channel. I channel the reasons for your experiences and even trauma, the relationships you have. And what that has progressed to is it really appears that I am here to help people align to their mission and purpose and help them step into sovereignty through aligning to their mission and purpose. You could say your highest timeline. And it really aligns with my background in corporate and what's been coming in. I just created masterclasses on this for my community, and I see some people in the community here. So what I just created these masterclasses for the New Earth Collective that I'll be making available soon is you are here, you're a walking mission. You are literally encoded with what you're meant to be doing here. And once you get here and the veil of forgetfulness is thick, we can easily be sidetracked through the education system, societal programs, etc. But when you align to your mission and purpose and what you're meant to be doing, you will feel the greatest fulfillment. You feel joy, you feel passion, etc. That doesn't mean life isn't going to be difficult. Doesn't mean that you don't get brought challenges. Challenges are actually what helps shape us. And what I see a lot of times, every time I channel for someone, the reasons behind their trauma, it's always connected to what they're here to do. Now, we can also experience trauma through repeating the same patterns and over and not seeing what our soul's trying to show us through those patterns. That can be traumatic. But when people experience trauma like loss, painful things in life, I see 100% of the time that it's meant to help shape us into becoming the walking mission that we have come to be, or that we came to do, or we came to be. And that was something else Mel and I were talking about earlier. Is this comes in all the time in my channeled readings with people, is that we're not here to do, we're here to be. And when we are, now you might be doing things in life that help shape you into becoming who you came to be, but we're here to be. And when we can slow down and really stop doing so much and be more, that's when you start to hear your higher self nudges. That's when you start to see the synchronicities that your higher self is bringing to you. And you can start making sovereign choices for your life. And when you start working and operating from a place of sovereignty, I'll just say it, that starts to dismantle the program here. That starts to dismantle the matrix. It literally unplugs power from the matrix, because the matrix is powered on you acting from the opposite of sovereignty, you acting from fear, anxiety, worry, which is why everything on in the media and the news is geared towards keeping you low vibration. When you are making decisions from a place of fear, you're not in your highest timeline, you're not living in sovereignty, and you aren't operating from the place of the mission that you came to be. So sovereignty is the name of the game. It's been coming in a ton recently. And how do you act from sovereignty? I'll just share this, then I'll turn over to Mel. How do you act from sovereignty? What's the best way to act from sovereignty? Well, when you make a decision from the place of what would bring me joy, what's going to serve me, and not from a place of what's going to serve everyone else, what's going to keep me employed in this job that I'm scared of losing, what's going to keep me from losing these relationships in my life. I don't want to lose. I don't want to experience any loss. A lot of times we learn and evolve through loss. So when you make a decision from a place of, well, what do I feel is going to be bring me the most joy in the moment, or I'm going to turn off the TV, turn off the news, get out in nature more, pick up a hobby. This comes in a lot. Turn on high vibe music. Really watch what you're taking in. It's a lot easier to start making decisions based on the soft nudges that you get from your higher self, or taking action on synchronicities that come into your life. That would be acting from a place of sovereignty, versus what do my parents want me to do? What do my children want me to do? What is the news telling me I should do? What is chaos making me feel like I have to do? Those are making choices from what the program wants you to do. And when you act on sovereignty, you're going to be aligning to your highest timeline. And your highest timeline will always bring you love, will always bring you the feeling of fulfillment and joy. All right, Mel, what do you want to add from to all of that?
You said it beautifully. I want to say that a lot of times in readings, people ask me, Mel, am I on the right path, right? And they don't understand if they are or if they're not. But oftentimes, and then not, I find that they recognize that there's something off, right? There's something that's doesn't feel right. It's something that doesn't feel good. As they're, walking their journeys, as they're engaging in their daily lives and what their lives look like. And so you actually touched upon this. So it's a lot has to do with, and I agree with you on making these sovereign choices, and these choices that align with us, with who we want to be, with what we want to do in life. Am I more concerned about the high-paying job with a good benefit package that I dread going to every day, or do I actually, go for something that I enjoy going to every day? And this is the unplugging from the so-called matrix, is what you're talking about, right? The matrix is a system that has been, put in place to keep us tied down and believing that we don't have sovereignty that over what it is that we can do. The matrix is geared towards making us feel disempowered and fearful that if we do make choices that maybe go against what it is that we've been told by the systems that are within the matrix, that we are not making good choices. And unfortunately, many people are still hooked in and engaged and anchored into that matrix, if you so will. That is something that by making decisions for yourself and by taking steps and doing things for yourself that make you happy, can help you get out of. Okay, so as a lot of times when people come to me and ask that questions, to go back to what I was saying, is I find that the answer to the question oftentimes is, what are you doing for yourself? right? Are you really looking at what it is you want, or, and you said this too, or is it something that you're always thinking what you have to do, or what everybody else thinks you should do, right? So this is really, it's quite simple. It's a simple concept, but it's yet so difficult for people to do because they're very much afraid of where this is going or where their lives are going. And I have to say to this is that the message that always comes in for people is when you do even the smallest things, you don't have to take huge leaps of faith. Okay, it's a process that can unfold slowly. You take little steps at a time. And when you do that, you actually will discover that you become more courageous and that you take a bigger step the next time. Because once you connect with the part of yourself and that feeling of, a little bit more joy and that feeling of a little bit more happy and more exciting, then your soul and you naturally will want to do more of it. Okay, so you don't have to go get that job you've always wanted right away, but start small, so that you get to that point where you can't where you feel more courageous to do so. So it doesn't have to be this big undertaking. It's a process, little by little. And yes, it's true that some people do take that leap of faith right from the beginning, but most people don't, and they don't have to. And don't let anybody discourage you from doing so, because a lot of us are surrounded by people who don't quite understand that yet, and that's one of the biggest, let's say, what's the word I'm looking for? That's one of the biggest struggles that people have.
Hindrances.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what I want to bring to that subject matter in response to what it is that you just said. And it's pretty much the same thing. I just worded it differently.
Yeah.
Really. But it's beautiful to get it from two sides because we're getting the same information from the teams that we're channeling and that we're interacting with, and it comes down to the same thing. So this is real, okay? This is true, and we believe it to be true as well. So, I always say, do what what feels right to you, and take whatever it is that someone else like me and Heather speak of, and use your own discernment. But know that when you look at it from that perspective, try it and see how it feels. Okay, everybody's doing it a little differently. There's no one fits all. Don't let anybody tell you there is, because there isn't. So that's back to you.
That's what society says, right? Like I started channeling this years ago, and now they've been bringing me more information that's built on this. But the education system is the most corrupt system they've shown me, because the time you come out of the womb and you can go to the bathroom on your own, you're in the system, learning to be just like everyone else. Regurgitate. There's a punishment system, a grading system, and to create little clones and robots for the system, right? And when you go against the grain and you start to tap in and make decisions from what serves you most or serves you best, your path will take you a different way than society will take you. But that's where true abundance is. That's where freedom is, when you start making decisions from a sovereign place. And Tammy says here, we're human beings, not human doings. And then somebody else said that they quit their job and trying to find that person. Somebody said, Love Light Stacy 11 says, I just quit my job. Bravo. How do you feel? How does it feel? It can feel scary at first, but when you trust and take the leap of faith, and then remain open to the guidance that comes in from your higher self, and you can better discern your higher self guidance when you are operating from a high vibrational place. So turning off things that bring you down, setting boundaries with maybe things that are causing you to doubt yourself, getting out in nature, salt baths, things like that. When you go inward, you can discern your higher self guidance better, and then you can discern the actions that your higher self is bringing to you. So somebody lost their job and they're on unemployment insurance right now. Things are going to pick up for you. I think a lot of people are quitting and losing their jobs. I lost my job almost 6 years ago for standing up against racism and corruption. And when I thought what I thought my path was going to be, which is retire in my 60s with a 401k retirement plan like everyone else, because I was told that was the best thing to do, my path was completely rerouted. And that's this was coming in when you were sharing, Mel, and they're reminding me now because I forgot about it. But a lot of times the things, this is what they're showing me right now, and this has been brought in before. When we're in situations that are not in our highest good, whether or not we're kicked out of the job, or we quit the job, or we leave the relationship that's abusive, or whatever it is, set the boundaries, make different decisions that really support our highest good. It's like an unclogging of the drain. It opens up space. And that's when I see people's gifts starting to come in. That's when I started getting psychic downloads for strangers in public as soon as I left my job. When we're so inundated with the 3D clogging of, removing you from your higher perspective, or when you're not making decisions from a sovereign place, it's like your space is clogged, and it's really hard, if not impossible, to discern your higher self. So sometimes your higher self, the universe, source, God, creator, will remove things from your life in order to offer you the space and opportunity to start seeing things in a different way. And when those things are removed from your life, sometimes by force, because we're holding on to them so hard, and when we let go, or the things are removed from our life, a lot of times that's when I see, for myself, but also clients, their gifts starting to come online, because now they're operating from a clear space, outside of the program, I guess, if you will, if you want to say it in that way. And I have people that will say to me, sometimes just followers dropping comments, or clients will say, like, they want their gifts to come in. They want their gifts to come in. And what I see a lot of times is they're holding on to the 3D so hard, or they're not really opening themselves up to allow their higher self to clear things from their life in order to create the space for that to happen. And you can't, both things from what I see can't be true at the same time. So it's a trusting and letting go and allowing the universe to clear things from your space, from your life, that aren't supporting your highest good. And when those things are cleared, it opens up the space for the gifts to come in. Do you see that too, Mel, or what do you think about that?
No, it is. I would add to this as well, is that a lot of times I get the information is that people are not connecting with themselves enough anymore. You kind of have to be able to connect with yourself before you can connect with something else, right? So, and we talked about this before too, Heather, is we talked about that, people need to unplug, right? Need to unplug from the media, need to unplug from constantly, engaging, or even being stimuli. We constantly have, stimulation around us, whether it is, people or noise, or, media, or TV or social media, whatever it is, okay? And when we don't unplug regularly, we don't get to actually be with ourselves. And a lot of times is that I find, when someone tends to always do, or is inclined to, it's because they're afraid of being with themselves, and being, of what they could find. So that's something that I find a lot in readings, is that comes in for people. You got to connect with yourself, and by connecting with yourself, you can actually then become more comfortable with who you are. You access parts of yourself that you may otherwise would not readily be willing to access. You're basically being vulnerable, which is a big part of the spiritual journey, or this journey that we're on, is if we can't allow ourselves to be vulnerable in a safe space that we create for ourselves, then there's an issue there. We need to make time for that. So, and then, when we connect with ourselves, we can actually, our other, clairs come in and so forth, right? Because the message that came in for me a lot of times with people is this also. Sometimes I find that the clairs and the abilities are being held back for reason. Is because Spirit wants us, or the universe wants us to sort ourselves out. Because the human mind, let's face it, the human mind is such that we focus on our intention elsewhere. If we get to ask, let's say, others, hey, is this right? Am I doing the right thing? Is this okay? Should I be doing this, or should I be doing this? It takes away from, being with ourselves and knowing, hey, how about asking yourself first before you ask elsewhere? Okay, so if that is, I believe, sometimes a protective mechanism too. okay? If we don't connect with ourselves, if we we actually are preventing ourselves from progressing to the extent that our clairs come on, or our other senses, they become more clearer. I'm not saying that that goes for everybody, so this is not, but I find that a lot, and that is done so that we are protected. Because if we're not connected with ourselves, if we're not aware of who we are and what it is, then we can be infiltrated too,
Yes.
and easily. It's like we wouldn't know who it is we're talking to. We wouldn't know what it is we're dealing with. So I often find that is a protection mechanism. Where people get, I can't. Well, maybe it's a good thing that you're not. Okay, so I will add that to it. But yeah, it's unplug and just be. Be by yourself. Don't be afraid to be. And then there's a difference between being alone, sitting in a house alone, and setting the intention of actually connecting with your deepest self. And clients have told me this before, that when they do that, I often find that they start to become very emotional, or they start to, find things about themselves, find out things about themselves they didn't realize they still were holding on to. So, this is an important part about this journey. But I think I'm sidetracking here. There's one thing that I wanted to add. I saw earlier, and this comment is long gone, but I think we can address that too, if you don't mind. Somebody said that, or asked if can they be on their highest path if they drink wine, or if they're eating meat or something, or they're not in the best shape of their lives. And someone else had something similar that would tie into this. And the answer to that is yes, you can. Are you drinking? But here's the thing, and here's the caveat. Are you drinking wine because you are trying to drown out your sadness? And then no. Are you drinking wine because you enjoy a glass of wine? And you are, and this is more in moderation. And do you enjoy food? And while you eat, this is just, what is this? Where is this coming from? There's this misconception in the spiritual community that you can't eat meat, that you can't do this, you're not supposed to do this, because all these things could lower your vibration. And that is true to the extent of when you're doing it with the wrong intention. Okay, it's all about intention. Okay, if you're doing something
100%.
because you are not feeling well, because you are sad, or if you're feeling like I said earlier, if you're coming from a place that is not healthy, or excited about what it is you're doing. Because I like food too, does that mean that I shouldn't, eat certain foods because they may not be good for me? That's not the case. I've actually had this conversation with my spirit team before, and they said, Mel, I said, if you are enjoying this, if you are enjoying doing this, and you're not doing it because you're in a certain state of being, then by all means do it. Now, everything in moderation, obviously, but I just want to caution people, and I'm going to take this opportunity now to say this, and then back to you, that stay away from people in the spiritual community who tell you have to do certain things a certain way, or this or that. Because that's basically really telling someone one fits all, and that's not how it is. I always say, again, I don't want my information here to be misconstrued, but if you are going through a hard time, then I'd say stay away from the alcohol. Okay, so don't take what I say out of context, right? If you're not in a good place, then don't overeat. Okay, that's kind of like the way I see it. But should someone who is not following some of the other spiritual leaders' examples, just because it works for them doesn't mean it works for you. I want to be perfectly clear. The one thing that my spirit team has always told me is, one doesn't fit all. Okay, you have to really be very, very individual and unique with what it is that you do and how you live your life. The way you do things doesn't fit this person's life or that person's life. And it all goes in the same direction. You just have to have that basic understanding of what we just talked about and some of the other things, and use that and incorporate that and integrate that, and then make decisions for yourself. I'm just going to leave it at that, because this is a rabbit hole that could probably be spun much further.
So good. All of this is so good. I mean,
the light has been paused.
One second. One sec. Is it back?
No, not yet.
All right, just a second. TikTok might have done that. Just a second here.
Oh, there it is.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. We could literally have like a 12-hour live because all these topics are so good. I just want to piggyback on that. This comes in all the time. The point of us coming on here today is to share with you. This isn't the Mel and Heather show, although we are here as the vessels to share this information. We're sharing with you all what's coming through our readings, what's coming through our sessions, and it's consistent. The messages don't change per person. The guidance might change per person based on the individual person, which is speaking to what you said just now too, Mel. It's individual to the person, but the guidance, the information does not change. Just like we are in a free will realm that does not change tomorrow. It's not going to change the next day. Things don't change. So we want to share with you what comes through in our dozens and dozens and hundreds of readings that we're doing, so that you guys all can benefit from the information. And I want to reiterate and piggyback on what you just said. I think it's so important that, in fact, I was getting downloads as you were talking, that intention is everything. So it's the intention, it's our intention. And that's, again, sovereignty. I feel like it's maybe another way to explain sovereignty, or a cousin, but if I'm making a decision from the intention of what's going to please other people and what society says I should do, versus I'm making a decision from the intention of what's going to light me up and bring me joy, it's all about intention. So the same thing comes through with alcohol too. I'll just say alcohol, but this comes through with other things as well. Is that what's the intention? If the intention is, I've literally been shown that souls incarnate here for the 3D experience, to experience what it's like to be in physical form, to fall in love, to have babies, to have a pet dog that's also got a soul, and also they come for the food and the wine, okay? Because literally souls come here for the experience. There's other places you can incarnate for different experiences, and here one of the reasons why souls come is for that. Now, if you get sucked down the rabbit hole and you're say you're drinking because there's pain and trauma you've experienced that you want to avoid and you want to push down, you could drink, but it's going to pop up somewhere, and at the very least it's going to cause some type of physical thing in your body. If you're avoiding healing something that's causing you to align to not your highest pathway, it's going to cause, I've seen this before, all levels of health issues, right? So if you're drinking because it's fun to sit out on your back deck at sunrise or sunset, maybe not sunrise, but maybe Bloody Mary at sunrise, I don't know, but maybe you want to sit on your back deck and watch the sunset with a glass of wine and enjoy the beautiful, beautiful nature, simply to enjoy it, then your intention is aligned to your highest good, and you're making a sovereign choice. If you're drinking a bottle of wine because you still haven't healed your childhood trauma that's causing you to make other decisions in your life that are causing you more trauma, then there's no judgment from anyone. There's no judgment from your higher self. There's no judgment from Creator. But I would say, from what I've seen, it's in your best interest to get to the root of what that is and heal it, versus trying to hide it and push it down, because it's just going to pop up somewhere. So 100% it's about intention, and what's coming in here is to go ahead. Fine. I was wondering if this was going to come up. So this is what I've seen. Our souls are created perfect. We're from source, right? So I'm getting ready to make a video about this, but we are all fractals of source. We're not born, our souls are not created, and then we have to go through a process where we have to graduate and become worthy or become higher than thou, right? That's not the case. That's what humans have created. We've created a system of hierarchy. You have to pass kindergarten to go to first. You've got to get at least a C+ to go to the next level. Those are human concepts. Your soul is perfect. So there is no if you drink, you can drink this much, but after that you're not going to graduate. Those are human concepts. So healing, this is what's been coming in recently with my sessions, the last 6-9 months, I would say has come up, is that healing is not a requirement, but if there is something that's causing you to not make a decision from sovereignty, or if there's something that's causing you pain, if there's something causing you to feel fear or anger or resentment or projection, that means that there's something to heal, and it would be in your best interest in this human life to heal it, to align to your highest timeline. I hope that makes sense. That's what's been coming in my sessions anyway, that like sometimes I'll get clients that say, I want to know what I need to heal so I can ascend. And it's like, no, there's nothing you need. There's no need. But in order to align to your highest timeline, and if you want to take it up a higher level, in order to, dismantle this illusion, this matrix that we are in this realm, which souls come here for the challenge of waking up in this density. That's one of the reasons why souls come here. If you want to be part of aligning yourself to your highest timeline, living a life of the utmost joy that you can here, and unplugging the power from the matrix, if you will, then healing would support that. Because if something is there to be healed, what that means is we are now living from a place of maybe fear, anger, resentment, etc., which is a lower vibrational feeling, which kind of programs the matrix. So I hope that makes sense. What's been coming in is there's no need. Your soul, it's not like your soul can't graduate to a certain level if you don't heal in this human life, but the pain that you've endured, or the trauma you've endured that's caused pain, it's in your best interest to heal it. So you aren't drinking a bottle of wine every night to numb your symptoms and not making decisions from sovereignty. It's in your best interest to heal it so that you can make decisions that are from your highest good. Maybe leave the job, leave the relationship, pick up the hobby. So healing is more of something that would benefit you to align you to your highest timeline, but you're not going to not graduate soul school if you don't heal something in this life. Does that make sense? Like, does this come in for you, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, we had this conversation earlier. It's kind of like, I get this question a lot all the time too, and I do, for people tap into the soul space and get information about what it is that potentially is still outstanding. So I do get that info, but what I will say is this, is that whenever we, or whenever someone is really living each day to the best of their ability, meaning that they are engaging in, the things that they really would like to do versus the things that they don't want to do. I mean, we all have to do things we don't want to do, but, that we make choices that are, that we align with, that make us happy. Then whatever needs to be healed is kind of like coming to the surface or being released automatically. I think this is almost as if we don't have to, have a manual in order to access it. If something's really stuck within us that is not being released, it's because we haven't been living our life with, aligning us with our highest path. And again, the highest path is really only, it's not how much you know, and I want to say this here too, it's not how much you know intellectually as to higher concepts and all that. That is just secondary, actually. Because I've actually had people who were very much in alignment with their highest path, and they don't have any kind of understanding of higher concepts. And there are people all over the world who don't understand higher concepts, but yet they are, engaging and living their life to their fullest, right? And they are naturally very balanced. They are naturally very living much in peace, inner peace. And they didn't, take a class on how to, heal your inner wounds. But yet here they are. Does that mean they didn't have any inner wounds? Yes, of course they did. But it's just that by simply walking this path and doing, it in the most, go with the flow type of way, that's how you really are walking this ascension path. And I know that you have brought these in your latest videos, we're not ascending, right? We are remembering. And that is, it's the word ascension, I think, and we talked about this too, is kind of used, really, it's been hijacked, okay? It's really been misinterpreted. It's somehow this ultimate goal up there somewhere that, we have to get there, or else if I don't get there, then I'm going to be left behind. And I can't tell you enough that this is not the case. Okay, you are, by every choice, sovereign choice you make, like you say, by everything you do for yourself that is in alignment with what you want to do versus what mom wants, what, your boss wants, what, society wants, when you align, you are ascending. Every day you're ascending. Every day, ascension means you're raising your consciousness. Ascension means you're raising your frequency. That's what ascension is. It's not some ultimate goal, right, that you just go and you poof disappear somewhere. I mean, there is so much misinformation out there that is being put out there, and it's very fearful. It's making people fearful, and it's making people feel, most importantly, inadequate in what it is that they can do or are doing. And that, to me, that bothers me the most from a perspective of someone who talks to people all the time, who tell me this kind of thing. Okay, they really believe. Many people believe that they're not living up to the expectations of what they should be doing or should be achieving in regard to their spiritual progress, because they see other creators or other things on media and wherever else that is sort of making them believe that. This is why I always say, is the best way to approach this whole process of ascension, if you so will. I'm going to use the word ascension because everybody knows this, okay, is to just be the happiest you can be every day. Do the things that you enjoy doing. Engage in activities that you want to engage in. Make compromises with your current situations if you can't fully unplug. Okay, but move in that direction. Even if you can't fully unplug, if you have to make those compromises, that's already aligning you with that, with your highest path. And your highest path comes with abundance and opportunity and prosperity automatically. You're also feeling a lot more, peaceful inside. And by doing that, that is ascension. That's what ascension is. Okay? So I really want to stress that to people. And hopefully that takes a burden off their shoulders. Because people really are, just stressed out about it. It's not supposed to be stressful.
Right.
It's supposed to be happy. And even though when we heal, it's not a happy part, those parts that we're going through. And again, healing comes almost naturally if it's done right. Most of us don't do it right, including myself. I didn't do this that way. I gotta tell you all, I speak these words now, but I didn't know some of that stuff when I was going through it, and I wish I would have known these things back when I was going through the ringer a little bit. So, make yourselves your journey easier, right? It's supposed to be and joyful. And before I give it over to you, back to you, Heather, is you're absolutely right. We come here to enjoy this place, okay, most importantly, okay, that's what it is that most souls come here to do. We were to experience something, whether it is growth in some shape or form, and all those other things that are come with having a physical vessel. And I've actually been told that there are many beings out there that would that would love to have a physical vessel and be able to experience what we're experiencing. And of course, our mind goes straight to, oh, geez, they're not going through what I'm going through. But really, you have to look at this whole journey from a higher perspective, and not just from the human self that is currently maybe going through some tough times. Just everything. A shift in perspective can take you out of this whole victimhood mentality into something that is more assisting you and rearranging or realigning you with something else. So
so good. Yeah, so this, my guides were telling me for a while to start making videos about ascension, and I think personally, my human, when I see people using ascension almost like a weapon, like you're less than, you're not graduating, you're not going to evolve, you have to come back, it's and then I see, and I have followers reaching out to me, even clients saying, I'm worried I'm not ascending. And it's so I was motivated to make those videos for that. There's nothing to worry about. And it's part of it. You could say it's semantics, right? Ascending or remembering is remembering we are perfect souls in a human body having an experience. Souls do not come here. I think that's what I kind of was referencing recently, or a little bit ago, it's not like the soul is created and then it says, I have to go to earth now so that I can pass levels so I can ascend. That's not what the soul's doing. Now, while you're here in human form, you could call it ascension. When we start making decisions from a place of sovereignty, what brings us joy, etc., we start ascending in vibration or frequency. There's so many ways to explain this. I mean, again, it's like looking at a diamond. There's all different facets to a diamond. It's just different ways to look at it. But when we start living from our sovereignty and raising our consciousness, what that means to me, from what I've seen, from what I've channeled, is starting to become more of who we really are, which is outside of this body. All we are is love. We're literally love, and we incarnate into this physical form and then we start taking on these layers of identity and trauma and chaos and everything. And when we start to remember that we are actually perfect souls in a human body having an experience, you can say you're ascending in consciousness, or you're raising your consciousness. You're starting to remember, and it starts to shed the layers of these falsities, right? These things that aren't really who we are, but that we've taken on in this lifetime. And the more we shed those, just going back to your couple clients that you had recently, the people that I see living in authenticity, and they're not worried about ascending or waking up or remembering, and they're living in joy, nothing around them is really impacting them, and they're living more from their sovereignty, and their life reflects that, right? So there's what's coming in right now is our souls. There's so many things that are happening here to reflect or be mirrors to us, to show us what our souls are trying to show us, which is choose love, choose joy, choose authenticity. And when you do those things, your life automatically starts aligning to, you could call it a higher timeline. You could say you're ascending in consciousness. You're remembering who you really are. And so our soul brings us people, experiences, trauma even, to reflect to us things that we can let go of, or layers that we can let go of, to become more of who we really are, which is a sovereign soul in a human body having an experience. But when I see people weaponizing the term of ascension, again, my story was standing up against corruption and racism in corporate. I can't stand the treatment of people in that way, and it's what I came to do, which is part of my story. And I've been shown that every battle is not my battle to fight, right? Like, everyone's here. Since I woke up, I realized everyone's here learning their own things, but I am an advocate for people. And so seeing certain people acting like they're above in level than anyone else because they've done their healing or they've ascended in consciousness, it really, I have healing to do. It triggers me because I see that the people who still don't have a strong sense of trusting in themselves, maybe people that are still working on self-worth or self-love, they get pulled into that illusion and that lie, and causes a lot of worry. And then when you're making decisions from fear and worry, you're not on your highest timeline. So versus, obviously, I know I'm not going into these people's videos and calling them out or anything like that, but that's what kind of my guides were like, it's time to start making videos about this, because this is a term that's been hijacked and allowed to be hijacked by the powers that were, I guess you could say, because it keeps you circling in fear and worry and anxiety. And it's not like you're stuck here in this earth realm as a trap until you ascend to level 11. That's not what's going on here. And people, especially when they're looking around and they're seeing the chaos and stuff happening, that's being projected to us, they get scared that they're going to have to come back here. And that keeps people in a 3D mindset and looping and making choices from that place, and they're not living their highest timeline. So it really fires me up when I see people hijacking. And I do think that some people believe that that's true, but I think what we're sharing here today is you're not stuck in some trap that you have to ascend to level 100 before you get off the trap. That's not what I'm shown. I'm shown that really it's as simple as turn it all off. Don't compare yourself to others. Make decisions from a place of what's going to bring you joy. Do things that you're passionate about. Really live in the moment, the power of now, live in the moment. And that's really starting to channel in more of who you really are, which is a perfect soul having an experience in human form. So when you find yourself being pulled into fear or comparison or anger or resentment or judgment, you're operating from the Matrix program. And you're going to keep on more stuff like that's going to keep coming into your reality. If you say, how does this ascension, how is this person speaking about ascension making me feel? It makes me feel scared and worried. Then turn it off. Literally turn it off and say, what's going to make me feel empowered? What's going to make me feel lit up and joyful? And then start making decisions from that place. And then technically you're remembering, you're raising your consciousness. You're stepping into more of who you really are. So I hope this makes sense for everyone. I haven't really looked at the comments here in a little bit, but somebody says here, that's true. I have seen people being afraid they won't get to go to the new earth. Super, super good point. Oh, there was another comment here that I want to bring up to you, Mel, and see how you want to address this. But new earth. So, my community is called, this is not the comment. I'm going to bring up the other comment that I saw that keeps coming in to you. But my community that I launched a few months ago is called the New Earth Collective. And it's really about coming in, and starting to co-create new earth together through having real conversations, deep diving into the stuff that's, censored on social media, et cetera, or whatever, but really aligning to your mission and purpose, making decisions that bring you joy. New earth is, you could say, here or being created. And you can, if you want to, okay, what's coming in right now is, if you're making decisions from a place of fear and anxiety and worry and projection, you're living in the old paradigm. When you're making decisions from a place of, what do I want to create today that lights me up? You're living in new earth. It's already here. It's just, where do you want to step? Where do you want to live? This isn't like new earth is coming on December 31st, 2025. And if you don't reach a certain level of evolvement, you're going to end up on the war and mayhem earth. No, it's already here. But do you want to be part of creating it in your own life and have it reflect out to the collective? Or do you want to live from the old paradigm? It's really that simple from what I see. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And then also the comment that I saw here, I don't know if that person's still here, but they said, and I think it's worth mentioning or addressing, this person said, do either of you ever channel things or receive information that you don't share with the collective? And I think that would be worth at least addressing whether or not that's true and why. Anything you want to say first about New Earth?
About New Earth. Well, yes, you're absolutely right. I want to piggyback on what you just said. I do believe is that creation begins with not focusing on what needs to be dismantled, but rather what it is that you want to create. Okay, so many people focus on this has to go first, and this has to go first, and that has to go, and this has to change first. That's not creation, guys. Okay, I have to hate to say it. Okay, creation and stepping into a creation means that you envision what it is that something should look like, and that is what you focus on. Okay, and by doing so, what doesn't align with what it is that you are envisioning will then automatically fall away at some point. That's how it works. That is the basic thought of creation. Okay, I also want to say something to what you said earlier. I agree with you. I don't get triggered by the word ascension, but is something that I get triggered by, and I don't mean triggered. It just bothers me because I know that it affects people. So. And that is when I hear labeling, okay? Labeling in the spiritual peace community. And what I mean by labeling is this, chosen ones, okay? This is a perfect example. I know that many people choose that, to say that, but in my book, and what I'm understanding, is there are no chosen ones, okay? Now, I understand that some people use this term to describe a group of people or people whose souls have, want to engage a little bit more maybe in this process, right? Or whatever it is that they're using. But I want those people to be very cautious because when you throw around labels like this, it's exactly what's happening with the ascension thing. You got to do certain things to get there. It's when you when you're feeling inadequate, or which you're not, some people might believe that they're not a chosen one, and as such, they're not going to be able to ascend here again. There's that whole hamster wheel that we're talking about. That whole, yeah. So I just want to be perfectly clear. In my understanding, okay, there are no chosen ones. Now, there are people, and there are, those who engage more and who do things, who have different missions, okay, who came here to do to a certain something. Some people are here to just work on themselves and to just be themselves and so on. And there are some others who have more to do more. But those are not actually chosen. I don't see that as chosen. I see this more as a soul's purpose. Like you said earlier, we have different reasons for why we come here. Mm-hmm. And for some, it's just to experience a life and experience, expansion in the physical vessel. And for others, it takes more. And there is no label. Labeling is the ego, feeds the ego. So I stay away from it. Okay, not just for myself, but also for other people. I suggest that you all do. Now, lastly, I don't know how I'm going to answer that question, but yes, like when you said, do you channel something that we don't know about? Well, I can tell you all that if I knew something big was happening, I would share it with you all, okay? Now, there are things that I get sometimes, because I do a lot of, work in the other realms and so on, that I cannot share with the public on the public stage because I'm not supposed to, because it's not something that the public should or needs to know about and wouldn't understand in the context of things. But when it comes to really doing or knowing things that would affect everyone, believe me, if I knew something that would be important for everybody to know, I'll share it. I'll talk about it, even if it's not channeled directly or I'm not writing it down. I'll share it.
That's why we're here today, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about, yes, and the thing, it's really, and they're just, it's just one of those things. Is that again, we all have different things that we do. Like I can't speak for you, but I can only speak for myself. I do a lot of energy work in the other realms. Okay, and I do a lot of other things, mm-hmm. But it has nothing to do with, the collective isn't part of this in per se. This is just something that I do with my spirit team and with other beings that have chosen to align with me. And this isn't something that is important for someone else's journey per se. Okay. Now, what I do, I believe, is important for other people's journey, so that it makes it easier because there are things that we do, that will assist humanity or the human collective as a whole in the spiritual realm. But it is not something that needs to be mentally processed, because I actually find the less someone knows, the less likely that little processor up here can go and start to skew it, okay? I find that the more you tell people sometimes is that the more that wheel is turning, and the more room there is for misinterpretation. Mm-hmm. So I am very cautious about, how I even word things sometimes, because I don't want people to misinterpret what it is I say. Now, that said, I will say, some of the channeled messages that I put out are being maybe misinterpreted by some people, but that's, just the nature of the beast, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to say something that Archangel Michael told me, a few years ago that stuck with me. And that is, if your goal is authenticity and they don't like you, you're okay. If your goal is to be liked and they don't like you, you're in trouble.
That's true.
So that is, and that is something that I hold on to. So for those of you who are on this journey, who are stuck in the middle of, maybe being around people who don't really understand you, stay in your truth, stay in your authenticity, because that is, something that is your biggest power. That is self-empowerment. That is your soul's truth, right? And I don't know why I chose to insert this here. Oh, there's one other thing before I give it back to you that I wanted to mention here. And that goes back to something we talked about earlier, is that there are souls here who have chosen not to work on themselves, who have chosen to stay in the 3D paradigm, okay? Because I want to mention this because in personal readings, I get, clients who, are very concerned about maybe some family members who are just not showing any signs of waking up, or if you want to call it that or whatever. And sometimes that's just what it is. Not everybody is here. It's a soul's choice, right? We have to respect other soul's choice. So there are actually many that won't do that, and that's okay. And it's not our job to ensure that they are, or that they follow. It is our job to work on ourselves, and by doing so, by raising our own, consciousness and frequency and all that, we ripple out, that which can assist others also do the same if they so choose to do so. It's just. Here's the thing again, it's not one fits all, right? It's that whole thing. It's just like you wouldn't expect your neighbor to do the same things you do, or your sister or your brother to do the same things you do. It's the same thing with the collective when it comes to spiritual evolution. Many will not evolve in the sense that, maybe you envision evolution should be, and that's okay. And we just have to remember that. We have to be compassionate when we, see or interact with those people, because that's what life is. Mm-hmm. Life is not supposed to be a chore. Life is not supposed to be difficult. What makes life really difficult, and I don't mean to take away from people's challenges now, mind you, okay? I don't want people to think that I'm minimizing their, challenges, but what a change in perspective I find is the key to so many things, to opening doors and to completely gaining clarity on what maybe you could do differently. That is the big thing, okay? We don't have all the answers. The mind doesn't realize what's down around the corner. Okay, we can't see around the corner. But when we are living in the moment, like you say, the power of now, okay? When we're in the now, we actually gain clarity because we're not bogged down by what was, and we're not worried about what's tomorrow, okay, what's coming. So I'm going to just leave that. So do you want to speak on maybe the things about channeling, what you channel and you don't?
Oh, well, yeah, that would be a good place to start. There's so much. There's like 20 things you just said that I'd love to touch on. But yeah, so going back to the comment, is any, somebody says, man, someone does not want us to hear your message because I keep losing connection. I also see TikTok is censoring stuff. It's telling me they're censoring stuff. Yes, but we're still on. So, we're still on. So, going back to the question, is there anything information that we receive that we don't share with everyone? And yes, because I share what my guides tell me to share. All kinds of things come in through my sessions and what they tell me to share. And sometimes I ask, why do you guys want me to share this? And they'll say, because it's what's going to be the most supportive for the collective. So if I think there's a lot of different layers, to all of this, but if something is going to potentially be perceived from a place of fear, then they won't have me share it. That's why a lot of times in my videos, I use, I use drawings, I'm not an artist, but I use stick figure drawings to explain things and always say, to people, this is, nothing should ever, if something is bringing you fear, it's not coming from your higher self. So if something could potentially be perceived and cause people fear, then they won't have me share it. But if something is going to be a mass message that's going to support, what they're saying is the reason why they're having me have me share some of the messages that I share is because people really need, they're saying, people are really looking for, there's a lot of fear out there. A lot of things are being pushed out through a fear lens, not just with the media and Hollywood and religion, but even on social media. In fact, there's even, oh my God, there's so many things coming in. You know, a lot of times when someone rises to a high level of fame and fortune, you could say some of these spiritual gurus that have risen to the highest level of fame and fortune, definitely Hollywood people, they are used to push out fear messages. So we don't need more fear. We need more balance, they're saying. And so they'll have me share messages that will create encouragement, because our higher self is never going to bring us messages that cause fear. How we perceive things, if it brings us fear, that is gonna, I would say, hijack from us, from our highest timeline. So they want me, it's almost like what they're saying right now is they have me share messages that will help balance some of the stuff that's being pushed out there to help you come back to balance within yourself. So like I've seen several people here commenting as we've been sharing, you know, thank you so much. This is like reduce the fear, like the new earth thing. You know, this is not about a race. You know, it's not like there's two trains taking off. One of them is going into the war, mayhem, chaos earth, and one of them is going into new earth. And new earth is going faster than the other one. And if you don't run fast enough, you're not going to make that train. That's not what this is about. Faster than the other one. And if you don't run fast enough, you're not going to make that train. That's not what this is about. But there's so much of that out there. There's so much of that. You're not going to make new earth. You know, earth is ascending. And if you don't grab onto the ledge, you're not going to ascend with it. You know, you better jump higher, jump higher. So they have me share these messages to help, you know, bring balance back because there is so much fear. So if something comes in my readings, or when I'm sitting around channeling, like for instance, okay, they're giving me an example here. I kind of stopped sharing about Hollywood last year. Now, when I first got on TikTok, I asked what they wanted me to share, and they wanted me to start with Hollywood, and I understand why now. But when I channeled Kate Middleton last year, I did not like it. I did not like what I saw. It made me disgusted. It was heartbreaking, really. And when messages like that get put out, it can cause a lot of fear. And so I personally said, I don't really want to channel that anymore. I started channeling people's soul contracts, like people in the limelight soul contracts. I thought that felt better. But putting stuff out there, like when I channeled Oprah, awful. When I channeled Lady Gaga, awful. That injects fear. That injects, I didn't like doing that. So they told me it was time to pull back and start sharing messages that brought balance. So it does come in. So when I do sit down and channel things like Hollywood or, you know, and I know Mel does work, and we talk about this sometimes, like she does work in the spiritual realms. And when there's something that might be misconstrued or cause fear, then, we don't share it because there's no point. So if there's something that's going to bring help you to align to your highest timeline, you know, live a life of joy and fulfillment, those are the messages that need to be shared. So I think it happens a lot, you know, just it's like, what's the point? What's the point of sharing something that isn't going to support people and align to their highest timeline? And it's going to cause fear. You're not missing anything. You know, it's not like you're missing anything. You're not going to miss the New Earth train if you don't get all the information that we're channeling. So it's just better. It's just better that way. Plus, you know, there's a lot of AI combing internet and stuff, and things can be misconstrued. And yeah, there's just really no point. So somebody says that's what I thought, Heather. Somebody brought up, see, the more I listen to you both, the more I see how misled I could have been if I hadn't hold on to both. Yeah, and the thing is like, when you hear something from someone, what space are you at when you're hearing it? Like, how are you perceiving it too, right? So you can say something and 100 people could perceive it in a totally different way, which is why, you know, we're shown what to share and what not to share. But, and I want to say too, you know, I'm not triggered by the word ascension. I'm triggered by people who misconstrue the word ascension. I'm triggered by people that it's like, I'm higher than you. You haven't done your healing, and so you're not going to ascend to the 5D Earth train. You know, you got to stick back in the muck. You got to stay in the shit. You know, it's like, no, that's not at all what it's about. So, you know, that's why I think, again, they told me to start making these videos about ascension, is because it's starting to be twisted. And I am seeing that, you know, my videos get, the people that are pushing fear-based messages, for some reason, they're reaching everyone. I've seen people here come on the scene in the last 6 months, and their accounts are like blowing up, and there's a lot of fear. That's by design. You know, they want a lot of this fear stuff is, it's like trying to grab hold of, and if you think about, we're in a game, it's kind of a game, it's kind of an illusion, although it's very real and there's real stuff going on here. But there's a lot of fear being allowed and pushed out there because it manipulates our decisions, right? It keeps us from making sovereign choices that align to our highest timeline, which is why it's so important to be discerning about who you're watching, what you're bringing in. If it's bringing you low vibration, it's not from your higher self, unplug it. If it's making you feel excited and you're creating and you're lit up, then it's for you. So
right. I want to add a real quick thing to that, if don't mind me, but I was just actually made aware of this. There's some creators out there, spiritual creators, and as an energy worker, and you and I both too, we can sense that they're genuine. They're good people. They good souls, but they tend to use their their human opinions and sort of cover them up under the cover of spirituality.
Yeah.
And what I'm cover them up under the cover of spirituality.
Yeah.
And what I'm back on.
Yeah. Sorry.
So that whole reality. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is higher perspective. Okay, higher guidance doesn't care about politics. Higher guidance doesn't care about what happens, what this person did or that person did, or over here in the world, over here in the world. That's not what higher guidance is. Okay, and those who use something, a person or someone, and spin it in a spiritual way, and bring in people, that's an ego-based type of mentality. Okay, a spiritual leader, a spiritual person should not make political messages. I'm going to say it out there. If there's no honestly, and I'm going to say this, and this is not to speak bad about certain people. It's not, but I come across that sometimes, and I'm thinking to myself, and I see the comment section of the people, like you say, is all fear-based. It keeps the people in that 3D loop, in that perception of we gotta change things, or we gotta do this, and we gotta do this, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. That's just how, and that doesn't help anyone. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it, right? It just is what it is. This is why those of you who've been following me, and a lot of people are following me for a couple of years now, you know that I never really get into that kind of stuff. I don't. There was a time that where I, just like you, I had a series that called Unveiling Darkness. For those long-term followers, you might remember that. Okay. I did pick certain things, and I spoke about some darker things, okay, which is actually aligning with some of the things that I do in the other realms. But the thing is that was so as to introduce truth from a spiritual perspective, and then leave it at that. It didn't involve any kind of steps that people should take or do anything. It was just, this is it, and they move on. And just like you did, you channeled about some of the dark things about those, Hollywood people and so on. And it was just to make people aware. It was information. It was truth that needed to be said. So there's a difference between that and someone who perpetually keeps doing that. That doesn't serve a purpose. I just don't understand. Mm-hmm. And I just want, I know that not everything is roses and rainbows, whatever you want to call it. But when it comes down to it, for those of us who are working on ourselves and we're trying to build a better world, okay, we shouldn't be focusing on that. And when you are, as a spiritual leader, take something that is going to make people feel bad, or continuously remind them of something that they don't want or don't like, and you keep you keep pushing it in their face. You are part of the problem instead of part of the solution. So I just wanna say that on here, and I get the opportunity to say that in this live today, because I never talk about this kind of stuff. Okay. It's just I don't engage in politics myself, and I don't engage in other things either. I just don't. That doesn't make me naive. I know what's going on, here and there, to just roughly, but that's how I'm detached. I don't believe in that. I don't believe it serves anything, because it's a 3D system, and we're trying to overcome that, right? We're trying to do something different. We're trying to make our world something more than what the systems are in place are. Because they're all going to come down anyway. And you've chatted about this multiple times. You have a whole series about the systems.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah. So why engage in something that's going to go topple down eventually anyway, right? So,
Yeah, we create, and we, again, there's so many layers to all of this. Whenever I channel for people one-on-one, I always tell them in the beginning, get ready. There's so much information. There's hours of information waiting to come through. So we got to filter through it, make sure you're getting the most supportive information today, but everything's multi-layered. There's not just one explanation, right? So, but that being said, we create this reality with, this is what I've been shown, with what we envision, combined with our beliefs, combined with our emotions. So if we're creating this reality, then why would we want to create more of what we don't want by watching it and perpetuating it, right? So, it's just, we literally are the ones that are creating this reality. Now there are influences, there's definitely influences, and I don't know if we have time to get into this today. Maybe next live we can talk about timeline stuff, in a way that will be supportive for everyone. But there are definitely things being we are inundated with influences to create what we don't want, which is why it's so important to use your discernment and turn off anything that you don't want to create. Why do you think everything on TV is negative? I can't, when I watch TV, I mute the commercials. It literally, something like it's, my physical vessel cannot listen to commercials. It's like, negative, you're watching a TV show and then everything's either, pump your body full of this medication or, insurance, or, it's like, just be very, very discerning about what you're bringing into your awareness, because we perpetuate more. But somebody said on here, somebody messaged something that I feel like is a really good thing to touch on here. There's so much, but they said something about any spiritual people pushing political agendas. They don't understand it and they turn it off. And I think that's really important. Now we're all human again. There is no judgment. Everyone is on their own path. Everyone's experiencing their own things. And before I get to that, I want to touch on another comment I saw that said, as soon as they started working on themselves, people started falling away from their life. And you could call that awakening symptoms, but really part of what's happening here is as you start working on yourself, the people that you have soul contracts to mirror to you, the things that your soul wants you to look at or address or learn, once you work on yourself, you no longer need those people to be mirrors, and they might fall away. Also, you are on a different vibration of those people. So that's totally normal. And going back to the political thing, Paul, does religion make you feel empowered? Does religion make you feel sovereign and full of empowerment, full of self-worth? Do political views cause you to feel love for the planet? Do political views cause you to feel love for everyone? Ask yourself, am I feeling high vibration, and am I feeling like this is supporting me or not? And all of these things, I have a whole series, like you mentioned, Mel, I have a whole playlist on this. The 4 systems of control that are collapsing are political structures, Western meds, education system. I keep forgetting the third one. The education system, they say, is the most corrupt. And then the glue that holds it together is religion, law, Hollywood, etc. When you think about all of those things, they cause division. So political structures were literally created, it's a more recent thing in more recent times, to cause us to fight and create division. Because when we're divided and we're fighting against each other, when we aren't operating in our sovereignty, we're not empowered, we're operating from the program. Because technically we're all connected, we're all from the same place, we're all created from the same place. So it's part of this illusion here. So when political people are pushing when spiritual people are pushing their political agenda, they just have not seen that yet. They just have not seen the truth yet of that it's a system causing us to be divided. And if we keep funneling our energy into a system, you're red or blue or yellow or purple, whatever side you vote for, or you lean towards, you're still feeding division. You're still feeding separation, which is that's not sovereign, right? So those people are just not in a place yet that they've woken up to that. They just don't see it in that way, and that's okay. But from what I've been shown, I've never voted, and now the TV was on, the news was on my whole life. My family is very political, and now I realize why I was never connected with it. It's not a thing that's bringing us together, right? It's dividing black and white, red and blue, sexual orientation. None of that stuff matters. Those are all just layers that we take on in our life, whoever we are. And no one's better than anyone else. So any system that's causing you to believe that there's some race, to heaven, or, in religion, or one side of the political side is more holy or more right, then it's feeding into the very system that we're here to help dismantle through acting from sovereignty. So that's what I would say on the political stuff. Anything you want to add to any of that?
Pretty much said everything on that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. You and I are pretty much on the same page for most of the things. I just, everything is geared towards division. It really, really is. And it's hard for people to, detach from that, because this is what we've learned, we've been taught from the time we were in the cradle, right? It's kind of like this is what we've been shown. So, and I get it. But again, we have to higher guidance and higher thinking. It requires for us to really, really step out of this. If you want to create something where unity is it isn't a certain party that's giving you unity, or a certain, person that's giving you unity, or a certain place that's giving you unity. It comes from in here. And if you believe that this person, you don't like this person because they voted for this and this person voted for that, or this person because they're of this color, or this person because of that, then you are not thinking or you're not embodying the unity that you're looking for. So therefore, you are not actually creating that, and you're not stepping into that creation that you would like. So think about, this is why self-reflection is so important when we move forward and we really go about our, what it is that we say and we do. And this is, this sounds like a lot of work, to be honest with you, but the more you do this, you don't have to do this forever. It's kind of like, it becomes easier with time, right? It becomes part of who we are. It becomes, because the understanding, once you self-reflect and it sinks in, you are less likely to engage in those types of things. So I just want to make people aware of that. It's not what's out there that is, going to give you what it is that you want. It is what's in here, and what are you doing about it? Because if you are engaging with that, you are not creating, or you're not going to see what it is that, or experience what it is that you would like. So I'll leave it with that.
Yeah, beautiful. We're really here. We're here to remember who we really are, ascend, whatever you want to call, like remembering our divinity, our love. And so the question becomes, in everything in our life, are we creating oneness? Are we creating connection? And this isn't about trying to convince somebody else that your belief is right. It's are our beliefs creating community, unity, oneness, or is it still creating division? So, and that's why I think the messages continue to come in for both Mel and I in our sessions, that the easiest thing to do is turn it all off and go inward and learn to garden, pick up a hobby, focus on yourself and raising your vibration, meaning you wake up every day with gratitude for what you have, focusing on what you do have, and picking up things that bring you joy. When you do that, you literally start to create the reality that you're seeking, versus feeding the systems that you want to collapse through putting a lot of attention or energy into it. So that comes in constantly. So we're at 90 minutes here. what anything else that's coming to mind? Actually, hold on. I'm trying to think. There might have been a couple comments that I was looking at that I wanted to address. Well, I think we should save them because we've already been here for 90 minutes. But somebody did ask if we could bless the everybody with a mass meditation, and just I feel like we could, but for the sake of time and also because TikTok didn't like that before, I wonder if we should plan it, be a little bit more intentional with it. But what do you think? What do you think? Like a little meditation. We could do a little visualization.
Yeah, I guess we can do that. Just 5 minutes or so. It's
Okay.
probably not.
Okay.
It's less formal than what you normally do. There's no music or anything. So yeah.
Okay.
So we can envision sending a love or whatever it is that anybody wants to send good vibes to, and we do it as a group, and we just use our combined energy and our combined. Oh, and by the way, the Galactics are coming in too, so they want to help too. So
so I guess it's yes. So really quickly, while everyone is still here, I will have this uploaded to YouTube. So somebody asked where we could find this. I'll upload it to YouTube. I don't know if it'll go to TikTok, just because I'm filming our Zoom. For anyone who came in late, TikTok didn't let us go live together, so I'm filming Zoom, and I'll upload it to YouTube, and I'll notify everybody of that when that happens. And all right, so let's go ahead and just do a quick little visualization. The focus is going to be sending love into this earth realm. And also what came in is identifying the things in your life that are causing you to feel divided or causing you to feel fear and anxiety, identifying those things and letting them fall away, so that you can start making choices from a place of what makes you feel empowered and sovereignty, by identifying the things that you can actually take action on after leaving this life, removing the things that are not supporting community and unity. So let's go ahead and everybody just close your eyes, and if you would like, you can place your hands on your lap, hands facing up, or whatever feels comfortable. Just start taking breaths in through your nose and then let it out through your mouth. Keep breathing in through your nose. And as you're breathing in, follow your breath. Bring your awareness to your breath as you're breathing in. Breathe in beautiful white source light. And on the out breath, you're breathing out anything causing heaviness, causing confusion. On the in breath again, breathing in beautiful white source light, trust, love, authenticity, and sovereignty. And on the out breath, breathing out anything disconnecting you from your peace. And then take a moment to just allow naturally and organically in your mind's eye where you would like to send love and peace and unity in your individual lives as well as across this earth realm. And allow that beautiful peace energy to come from your heart space, the space that connects you to your higher self, to source. This isn't something you have to effort. This isn't something that you have to physically think about. Just allow this to naturally channel in source God light in through your crown and out through your heart space, wherever you're feeling drawn. And then just take a moment to think about how this energy feels, this peace energy, this love energy. You are safe. You are here on purpose. You are here to channel in source, God, light, and love into the physical vessel that is you. How does that feel? And then just imagine allowing your higher self to bring to you the things that could be causing disarray. The word of disarray just keeps coming in. Anything that is not serving you and your highest good, anything causing you fear or anxiety or worry, allow those things to fall away. And when you leave this visualization meditation today, you're going to set the intention to allow those things to naturally resolve or fall away in order to elevate your peace. And I'm going to give it to you, Mel, to share what's ever coming in and wrap us up.
I keep hearing over and over again, as you might notice, I am connecting to the galactics. And there's a one message that keeps coming over and over that I'm conveying energetically, and that is, allow them to be at ease with what will be. This is what they're wanting to give to everyone watching and being part of this today, and others too, of course. But yes, it was over and over and over. This is the energy that I am receiving, the message I'm receiving, and I am putting out here to everyone. So, which is probably why they came in. Allow yourselves to let go of what was so that you can embrace what will be.
It's beautiful. So peace, allowing, and surrender. Let go of control. What will be is what's coming in, and it is so. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Hold this feeling of love. You can channel this in anytime that you need to. Leave with intentions to allow the things that are bringing disarray to your life. Allow them to be removed for you. Let them go with peace and love, and surrender to what will be. And know that you're here on purpose. You are loved, and you're being guided in every moment. You can go ahead and open your eyes and come back to us. We love you. Thank you for joining us for so long today, and we will schedule the next one shortly for you guys, and I will let you all know when this is uploaded to YouTube so you can watch it if you missed it. Save it, share it. And Millie, you want to say goodbye?
Yes, thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you for being part of this last meditation, this short one. Thank you for listening and for following our channels. Many of you are, some very loyal followers. We appreciate it. We really, really do. Okay? And all the best to all of you on this journey. We're all in the same boat, and we are all doing our best.
And supporting each other. We love you. Love, love, love is the answer, and we will see you all soon. Thank you for being here with us. Bye, you guys.
Bye.